reaction show of Manchester United versus West Ham in the London Stadium. The scoreline, of course, being West Ham 1, Manchester United 1. We'll talk about Cesco's goal a little bit later on because that was a filthy finish. But no haircut for young gentlemen, and unfortunately for us, that means we're going to have to listen to all the chatter about it again for countless weeks and months to come. That is probably the most gut-wrenching part of today's results, to be honest with you, because in terms of our chart for top four, I think you'll both agree that no damage is done. Chelsea drew, and obviously Liverpool can close the gap tomorrow. But overall, we knew that we were going to drop points at some point this season. So not the greatest speed bump in the world other than the aforementioned Hairgate and having to listen to it all over again. Your initial thoughts, Colin?
Yeah, points dropped. We knew, like you said, we knew it was going to happen. We have had a very tough time against West Ham over the last couple of seasons. They seem to be our bogey team. I'm just glad we haven't dropped all 3 points and we've managed to pick something up.
But obviously we'll talk a bit about a couple of different stages of the game shortly, but disappointed?
Not really, no. Upon reflection, I think, look, going away from home against a team that's desperate for points right now, in the Premier League, which is the best league in the world, it's realistic to say that this is a good result for us. We didn't lose. We showed character to come back and get a point when we were down. You saw the West Ham fans; they were like starting to do chant, thinking they got 3 points, closing the gap, getting out of relegation, and then we shut them down, and that shows a lot of character. Big up to Michael Carrick for making the right changes at the right time. And we pulled it out. So in that respect, I'm all right about it, Rebel.
Yeah, I thought I detected Tottenham get battered everywhere they go, being sang by the West Ham fans before United scored their goal. Again, we'll talk about that goal briefly in the not too distant future. Obviously, I want to shout out to Derm's friend of the Man United agenda. He's going through it right now. They lost 2-1 to Newcastle, and I think he was probably more relieved than us that we got the leveler against West Ham, so that bit of daylight is still between them and the drop. But I want to start with the first half. And obviously, the tempo in that first half was a bit disappointing. It was walking pace by both sides. Now, obviously, there was a degree of nervousness and a lot at stake for both sides. If United won, it gave them a further 2 points ahead of Chelsea. And obviously, a West Ham win got them within 3 points of Tottenham and level on points, only behind Forest on goal difference. But the low blocks, that's something that this channel has highlighted as a problem under the Ruben Amorim system, that we weren't able to break down those low blocks, that we've struggled to create chances. And during the first half, the only shot on target that we had was that one that was cleared off by former Manchester United player, Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Is this something in the long term that Manchester United Football Club needs to be concerned about?
No, I don't think it is. I think if I'm going to be as critical as what I can be, because I was very critical when we put up semi-decent and very slow starting performances and everything, I think this is more of a learning curve for Carrick than anything else, because we all know how West Ham was going to set up. We all know they were going to play deep, they were going to play very compact centrally, and we needed to play through the width of the pitch and not through the middle like we tried to do quite a lot of times. I said in the watch along to Mr. Big, Cesco will change this game because he's an aerial threat. Get the ball out wide and whip it into the box. This is what we need. And obviously, I understand you don't change a winning team. The team's been very, very good. But I think Cesco playing as the forward tonight would have gave us more opportunity than what we currently had until he came on. And I think that's something he's going to have to look at and learn from today. We're going to come against teams that are going to do exactly what West Ham have done today. So we need to look at what we can do to bypass that.
Yeah, but I'm going to come at you with a different key point of that first half. During a defensive play, we saw Harry Maguire feel the back of what appeared to be his hamstring at one point. Now, he did play through it and did quite well considering, but do you think we took a risk keeping him on the field if there was the likelihood that he could do something that would cause him to be out for a period of time? Or do you think that they assessed him and thought, there's absolutely nothing wrong here, continue on?
I don't think they make risks like that, take risks like that in football at the highest level these days. They've obviously communicated with Harry, you all right, mate? How you feeling? And he's not being a Terry Butcher or a Paul Inson playing on, or Brian Robson playing on with a broken neck. It's just a slight pull, slight hammy. And if he felt he should have come off, I feel he would have come off. It's not like he's having to fight for his place. He's proven himself as the main man. So it is a concern when you see him, pulling up like that. But we had a good replacement, someone to come on with something to prove. And you can see when the replacement came on, he ran on the pitch, he was ready, he was sharp, he was alert. He wanted to really show himself and say, remember me, because this was the golden boy defender that we paid a lot of money for. And he's had his ups and downs. And now I think he's in a great position because he's on the cusp of the first team where he should be. He shouldn't be a first team starter. He's on the cusp of the first team. He's observing, he's learning. He's only young. And I think it's good development for him and a good experience for him to come and sit there on the bench and see how it's really done. So I hope Maguire gets fit, get himself back fit very soon. He's been, immense for us over the years. And it's good to see Euro come on as a replacement, someone young and fresh and with some sort of, measuring stick to look at with Martinez and Maguire have been immense in the last couple of weeks. So, yeah, Euro done well.
Thanks very much, Trevor. I just want to give a big shout out to everyone watching there over on YouTube, on Twitter, and we're even live on Twitch. So wherever you're watching us, thank you for tuning in. Please do hit a like, share, and subscribe. It's free to do, and we do appreciate it. Just bear in mind, if you are on YouTube, there are two feeds currently. One is the mobile version, which will have us on a kind of a landscape feature, and the other one then is your normal standard YouTube stream. So whichever one you're watching us on, please do hit the like on that. We do appreciate it. Just quick few skims of the comments. Patrick Pillow saying Euro was immense when he came on. Mr. B talking about, even though the tempo was slow, he thought we controlled it. Vincent Bullock, that tonight is really bright my heart. We will be beaten bottom of the bloody table teams. Now we have no chance of winning the league on maths. Well, I think, to be fair, we in the Man United agenda never thought about catching Arsenal or winning the league this season, but we will take any kind of forward steps that we can get. And that does bring me to Andrew. Obviously wants to talk about Bruno. We will sum up our thoughts on him at the end of today's show. But the West Ham goal, I want to talk about Luke Shaw, because obviously there was a lot of space on his side of the pitch for that cross that came in. And then we saw Souček then sneak in behind our defenders and get basically a free shot on Le Mans. A lot of people have been saying this was all down on Luke Shaw, that he was lacking for that. I see you shaking your head, so I'm going to make you wait, but I want to Cullum your views first.
Well, he let the ball bounce, I think, didn't he? And that's what caused the issue. He let the ball bounce, and he got beat down the line. It's not entirely, I'm not going to say it's entirely on Luke Shaw, because it's not. And I don't know, Yabba might agree with me, Yabba might not. Yes, Luke Shaw's started this error by letting the ball bounce, and then obviously his man got past him. But Kobe Mainu lost his man. Souček was Kobe's man, and he just drifted past him and got free. Kobe didn't get back in time. And obviously, we know how well Kobe's been playing going forward. Going backwards, he has got that in him where he can switch off even for a split second. And in the Premier League, we can't do that. We can't switch off because we will get punished like we did do today. So, yeah, I mean, it all started from the Luke Shaw letting the ball bounce. But, yeah, I mean, we should have had the cover there and we just switched off.
Yeah, look, it's when you say the blame, obviously, when you can see the goal, someone is always going to be at fault. It's always going to be, unless it's a worldie, But I look at that goal and I think, wow, big up to Souček that's the sort of player he is. He will go an extra mile. He would drive. He will work really hard. He's probably grown up not being the most talented, even, in his Czech Republic side or wherever he's played. But one thing he will always win at is the beat test and the running, the cross-country running and pre-season. He's just got levels, hasn't he, in fitness and tenacity, and he proved that today with the goal. He ran the extra mile. I'm a bit disappointed with Mainu. Mainu was scanning. He was in the right position. His body shape was good. He could see. He had a look at Souček, but Souček made that extra burst just at the last split second. So when you're getting back as a midfielder, you get back, say, right, your decision would be, right, I need to get back into position. I think Kobe got back into position, and then he set himself as looking at the situation, and then just a split second, suddenly Souček's ran that extra mile, that really hard work, that really hard running he does. And, it was fortunate to get between the keeper's legs to score. But you earn your luck by putting the work in like that. So I'll just say, rather than point fingers and saying mistakes here or Luke Shaw, whatever, I don't see it like that. I think these things happen. I just feel like Souček has to get credit for a wonderful, wonderful goal that he scored there. And you say wonderful goal, what? Did he do a step over? No, he didn't do a step over. He just worked his bollocks off and proved what, the immense player that he is. I'm saying immense 3 times in the show today. But yeah, he is an absolute battle tank and a great, great worker and a great player to have in your team. So well done, Tim. That was a really good goal.
Absolutely. Just a few more comments. Patrick Pillar's talking about Martinez also being complicit as part of the issue, but he kind of sees Shaw as the main person.
Everyone was back in shape. Really, I don't have. If we were 10 yards off the pace or standing ball watching, I have no issues. Everyone got back. That's good.
But then there's talk about the ref. I don't think there was anything you could put on the ref, to be fair. I think obviously everything in football can go for or against you, but I think overall everything was kind of good there. But obviously we did get the ball in there through Casemiro, and even though initial viewing people thought, oh, he's miles offside, when you actually kind of zoomed in, you got the angles, it looked like it was a knee between him and being onside, so he was unlucky there. But what I do want to talk about is the quality of our crosses, and sometimes the game vision, because we had obviously an overlap where all Ahmed had to do was tread the ball through, and we were probably one-on-one with the West Ham keeper. He didn't see that pass. And then a few more, then the crosses from Dalot and Ahmed, they just lacked that extra bit of precision. Is that something, again, that Manchester United will need to look at? Was it maybe that they didn't have that big target in Cesco sitting there in the middle, that the GPS was thrown off a bit? Or is it just that we lack that technical skill to get those balls in a sixpence like we used to?
I mean, it highlights a massive problem, doesn't it? Let's be real. Because we've done this before, not whipping the ball into the box, not putting the crosses on a plate. And let's be honest, it wasn't just Ahmad. Emblemo, his crossing was poor. Bruno's crossing was poor. Shaw's crossing was poor. Dalot's crossing was poor. A lot of them. I mean, the amount of corners that got cleared by the first man as well today. It's something that needs to be worked on 100%. But I think it highlights how much we relied on Dorgu on that other side as well, because he obviously, his crossing still needs improvement, but when he was there, it seemed like we crossed it a lot more. You know, he'd cross it in, and then obviously if it went over the other side and put it back in. Whereas I think because we've got Cunha playing there, he cuts inside now. He goes into the middle, so we don't have the constant overlaps of our wingers. Let's call them wingers, even though Dorgu's like a left back. So I think we're lacking that, and I don't think it matters regardless whether Cesco's there or not. You know, you've got Casemiro who makes the runs, who can get on anything. Bruno Fernandes did it not so long ago, you know, off the shin. So I don't think it's the fact we haven't got the target man there. I just think it's a technical thing that we're just not quite getting right.
Yeah. But I suppose obviously that is something that you could attribute to the fact that West Ham were so defensively compact, so organised, and they're well drilled when it comes to that side of the game of football. So you have to give credit where it's due there to West Ham. They have been on a run of form. They are difficult to beat in London, and you kind of have to say, right, we need to really improve on that aspect of our game and breaking down those defences. I am going to ask you the question that Vincent put forward about the penalty shortly, but before we do, let's talk about the delectable, sweet finish from Benjamin Cesco. That looked like it was a deflection initially when you looked at it in real speed, and then you saw what he did. Impressed, Yabba?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, confidence is everything. And as a striker, sometimes that would go in row Z. You know, if you're not playing regular, if you're not confident. He's come on the pitch. He's got a few goals now in his debut season. And like I was saying with Euro, coming off the bench, being motivated, the manager has to get these players coming off the bench and push their buttons to make them feel special, make them not come off the bench rusty and unsure of themselves. You know, I didn't see that in Euro. I didn't see that in Cesco. The way the manager's managing his team to get these players coming on the pitch and making the difference. It's not just today, it's every other game. The players have come off the bench and made a difference because they feel valued, they feel worthy, they feel confident. And that's a confident finish of a striker who's like, yeah, in training, you might try everything, boom, top bins, yeah, that's great. But when you do it in a match, it's like, yeah, it's happening. And I think Cesco, which is really, really delighted for, we want to see him have that confidence because all strikers need that, where you can have these sort of like, you can make all these runs in the box, you can look for the ball over and over and over again. But it's all about your thinking, let me get a connection to the ball, let me bang, let me, direct it towards goal and see what happens. And that was a fantastic finish. And like you say, when you slow it down and check the slow-mo, you realize that it's millimeters he got there before the defender, and he had to use his foot to just direct it in the right area. We saw another great goal by Bruno the other day, using his shin just to direct it. A great skill, great art there, and I think Cesco's just picked him and maybe trumped even Bruno with this sort of finish like that. It's an amazing finish. It's an instinctive finish, and that's what strikers are all about. So he must be skin and teeth right now. And like I say, I'm going back to it again. Michael Carrick is managing the squad so well that when players come off the bench, they're motivated. We didn't see that, for example, with Mainu come off the bench. He was like, "Oh, I'm a downer here." You know, you can see he's miserable. He was poker faced. He wasn't really emotional about it. But these players have to come off the bench, doing that little sprint, running on, yeah. Eyes are alert, like rabbits in the headlight. They're ready to go. So that was a great finish. I'm really delighted for him.
Anything to add, Colin?
No, I said my piece. I said whilst I was watching the game and talking to Mr. B in the watch along, I said this is Cesco's game. This game is made for Cesco. The way they've set up, we need Cesco. This is his game. We bring him on. What does he do? One of the most precise goals I've seen a Man United striker score in recent years. This is what we've bought him for, to score in these moments. So, yeah, Credit to him. I like Cesco anyway. I'm a big advocate for Cesco, and not just because he wears my shirt number.
Yeah. Just a shout out from Andrew. He thought Leach was superb today. Double A said that Euro was trying to carry us to the end of the game. Again, he put in a great cameo performance. And obviously, he's going to give Michael Carrick a lot to think of as we have, the guts of 2 weeks before we play another game of football. So there's plenty of time to work on stuff in training, maybe resolve some niggles that appeared during that game and work out the kinks. Like Harry's hamstring will probably get seen to by the physios and any other knocks and bruises that came up during the game. But there's 2 questions that have come into the chat to kind of wrap up our review. Obviously, we will have the aftermath tomorrow. But one was the impact of Bruno Fernandes and how he didn't dictate and he sort of reverted back to the ref chatting Bruno. And the other one, which I'm going to start with, was the claims of the penalty. Obviously, we did see a Manchester United player running through. It did look like he instigated a bit of argy-bargy prior to the shirt pull, but you've seen those given. And was he unlucky not to have it given for him during the course of the game, or do you think in reality you can't benefit off a foul with another foul?
That's a foul, as far as I'm concerned. This is the thing, you got to take players on, all right? I'm talking about Amad Diallo. What a wonderful talent he is. He's been there for, 5 years now or something like that? And he's just grown and grown and grown and get that confidence. He's a confident player and he can take players on. And we like to see that. This just gets fans off their feet, like the old days with Steve Coppell or Ryan Giggs, Kanchelskis, wingers that go at people and take people on. We love that. And he squared him up, done a little skill, dropped the shoulder and pushed and go, and he got in front of the man. Then he's gone down and there was contact. That's a foul. Anywhere outside the box, that's a foul. I don't understand why it was. I was on, my volume wasn't on. I was listening to the Man United Agenda watch along. Make sure you tune in to that every game. And I was just shocked. I went, yeah, clear penalty. And I looked at the ref, and the referee's like, nah. And I'm thinking, why? There's contact. You have to, like with the offside rule, they sort of give an advantage to the attacker, which makes the defenders their job harder. They make it, a little bit harder for defenders now. But for me, if you're the attacker and I'm a referee in the game, and I've seen a winger take on his man, get in front of his man, and then get contact and go down, you have to really question yourself, say, what's going on here? You can't say, oh, it's minimal contact or whatever. It's contact. By the rule book, that is a foul. You got in front. The thing is, anything from behind, he didn't touch the ball. The defender didn't touch the ball, and the tackle from behind is a foul. Especially if you don't touch the ball and you got your body, you done the right thing. You got him body in front of the man. He's in front of the man. Now it's like, yeah, you touch me, I'm going down. And he did touch him. He did make contact with him. Didn't, let it go because he was more shamed. He got beaten, and he said, "Right, I've got to make amends here." And that's what always happens. Defenders, they lose their heads. It's like, sugar, I just got beaten here, and I've got to get back, and I've got to make sure I'm not shamed here because I just got skilled. And he made the foul, and he must have been shook. His heart must have been beaten for those few seconds before the referee said no for some reason. I don't know what you think, Colin, man, but like the way I've just described that, it's basic. Surely you think it's a foul as well.
I'm just going to cut across because I am going to leave some meat in the sandwich for the aftermath. So, Colin,
I'm not on the aftermath.
Oh, well, in that case,
because I'm working until stupid o'clock tomorrow, so I'm not on the aftermath.
In that case,
it's not a penalty. It's not. It's just not. There isn't enough contact to make a penalty. There's not enough contact for him to go down. He's threw himself down. It's not a penalty at all.
Was there contact?
Minimal. Literally the brush of a shirt. That is it. There's not enough there. If that was given against us, we'd be fuming. Absolutely fuming. We wouldn't be on here going, no, referee's right, it's a penalty. It's nowhere near a penalty.
So no reward for beating the man with skill, getting in front of the man, doing everything right.
His reward's beating the man, doing everything right. But, that's his reward. Just because I could beat a man 6 or 7 times, and if he touches me and I go down, doesn't mean I'm going to get a penalty because he's grazed my shirt. It doesn't, unfortunately. But I understand your point of view and where you're coming from. There's contact and this and that, but no, I can't say that. I think it's a penalty.
Well, I think obviously there's a lot more to be fleshed out during the aftermath tomorrow. I do want to say hello to Trevor. I think you're new here. He's saying hello to us. And Stuart Marshall, he's saying, poor tonight, but another goal in Fergie time from Big Binge. Bruno Fernandes, give me 30 seconds each on whether or not you think he reverted, and then we'll close out.
Time starts now. I think Bruno Fernandes had another great game, dictated the tempo, really, worked hard, gives us that creative force. You can see the difference between him and other players when it comes to sort of developing things. And on the ball, he's fantastic. I don't think he had a poor game. Just because he didn't get an assist or a goal doesn't mean he didn't play well or didn't really apply himself. He did apply himself. He was a threat. It was just the fact that, I feel that West Ham were rigid, were strong, and it was difficult for any of us to sort of cut them open. And if we don't, we always point at Bruno. But there are other players out there. I thought Casemiro played well. I thought Kobe Mainoo played really, really well. His use of the ball. So I'm not going on Bruno's back. I love him as a player, and I thought today he was outstanding again. Simple.
Colin?
I don't think Bruno was good. I don't think he was bad. I thought he was meh. But that's not on Bruno. That's not on Bruno. West Ham knew the threat Bruno has, and every time they picked up the ball, they were on him. Didn't give him the space. They played their tactics very well. They know, we know how dangerous Bruno can be if given a bit of space, and they just absolutely tried to take him out of the game every chance they could. So I can't say Bruno was poor or good, to be fair.
No, that's a fair point. I suppose in summary tonight, Manchester United obviously finished 1-1 against West Ham. We have to give credit to West Ham for their defensive organisation and the way they went about their business. They were very difficult to have chances created against them. We did earn a vital draw, and that keeps us on the path for the quest for Champions League football, possibly even top 4, because there's a lot of moving parts involved there. And I suppose more disappointingly for us, not so much from the impact on the season, we will have to continue to listen to Hairgate for the remainder of the season. But also coming soon over that way, we are working on getting a wee little range of merch available to you. So keep your eyes peeled for that. But we will be back tomorrow. Keep an eye on the time that it does go live, because obviously there is Premier League football tomorrow. So it may be at the earlier time at 7 o'clock. But if you have that notification bell on, you will know exactly when we're going live. So that is it from us for tonight. Michael Carrick remains unbeaten in a caretaker capacity through his 2 stints. How long that will continue, we will have to see. But from us, good night.